With a vote being held this morning, we are now one step closer to Donald Trump potentially being impeached. The House Judiciary Committee voted to approve 2 articles of impeachment against him, paving the way for votes in the full House of Representatives next week that could make him only the 3rd president in history to be impeached. Now, if that does happen, it will then move to the Senate, where Mitch McConnell will listen with an open mind to the evidence that will be presented. I can't keep it up, I'm not that good an actor. But he does have plans though. And so he joined Sean Hannity last night as a sign of how seriously he's taking this entire thing. And here's what he had to say about his strategy.
Everything I do during this, I'm coordinating with White House counsel. There will be no difference between the president's position and our position as to how to handle this. To the extent that we can. We don't have the kind of ball control on this that a typical issue, for example, comes over for the House. If I don't like it, we don't take it up. We have no choice but to take it up, but we'll be working through this process, hopefully in a fairly short period of time, in total coordination with the White House counsel's office and the people who are representing the president in the well of the Senate. Well, exactly how we go forward, I'm going to coordinate with the president's lawyers. So there won't be any difference between us on how to do this. Again, I'm going to take my cues from the president's lawyers.
It's checks and balances.
That famous thing that Congress is supposed to do. Yeah, I'm really glad that they're just mailing this one.
Yeah, I have to think that somewhere underground, the bodies of the founders are just like clapping a little because things have worked out exactly how they hoped.
So, look, guys, one of the things I'm amused by is that Republicans often say, and they have said it a lot about this impeachment proceedings, I can't believe how political the Democrats are. It looks like they're not even considering the evidence with any degree of impartiality. And then McConnell comes out and goes, oh no, I'm not gonna consider the evidence at all. I'm already working with one side. Remember, the senators are supposed to be the jurors in the trial in the Senate. You impeach in the House, and then the House sends House managers over to the Senate to prosecute the case, and the senators are supposed to be the jury. From time to time, if a Democratic senator has said anything about, well, I'm troubled by Trump, they're like, what are you doing to see? He's not being impartial. He's not being impartial. Now McConnell comes out and goes, of course we're not gonna be impartial.
Yeah.
Not only that, I'm going to take my orders from the White House, who is on trial. Okay, I mean, could you imagine if jurors in the rest of the world did that? They're like, we just want to let the judge know ahead of time. We will be voting with the defendant under any and all circumstances. But anyway, let's have fun and do a trial.
I think a third-party investigator needs to come in and take a look at what's going on in this impeachment proceeding, and then maybe do a potentially violent coup in America. That's what we do normally when it happens in Bolivia or other developing nations in Latin American countries. We're like, oh, wait a minute. This seems like there seems to be some trickery going on in your elections process or in your constitutional process. I don't really like it. We're gonna make sure that we now facilitate a right-wing coup in your country, killing multiple people. That's okay when we do it, though.
Let's just be clear. You are being sarcastic there.
I'm being sarcastic. That was not an endorsement.
I would never. Some people, it's sarcasm. It's hard for some people to understand.
I know. I would never endorse the disgusting foreign policy of our imperialist state.
Yes.
So,
but it's a ridiculous state that we find ourselves in because, like, they share a party. We know that he's going to have his back, but hypothetically, like, he's an old man who's worked his entire life on this career as a politician. He's risen to an incredible level of power, heading up the Republican Party in the Senate, and he is effectively saying, whichever like reality TV star we put in as president, just talk to him. He can do whatever he wants. I'm not gonna get involved.
Yeah,
because he got what he wanted already.
Yeah, to Hasan's point, putting the kidding aside, it does show the hypocrisy of what the US does from time to time, especially the Republican Party. When they say, well, look, if other countries have not followed the process of their constitution, have not followed and had fair processes in different ways, they say, well, that justifies a violent overthrow of their government. Now, it's preposterous when we do it in Latin America, obviously it would be preposterous here, but just the hypocrisy of them saying, we don't care about the law, the Constitution, or any of the normal democratic processes. We're just gonna do whatever is right for our party instead of our country. It's overwhelming. If any Democrat had said 10% of what Mitch McConnell just said, all the Republicans and all the media would go absolutely nuts. Can you believe these Democrats are not being impartial jurors? So if you think the fix is in, yes. But I will disagree with one thing that a lot of reporters are saying. They then turn around and go, so then it's a foregone conclusion that Trump will be acquitted in the Senate. No. It depends on how long it takes. So right now, this is Mitch McConnell saying, I just checked my polls, I think I'm still okay. And Chuck Schumer, in his infinite stupidity, as usual, has put up a super weak opponent against me. So I think I'm gonna be all right. So I'm backing Donald Trump. And he says, I don't think any of the Republicans are gonna break with us, and maybe the Democrat, a couple of Democrats might. You never know with Democrats, they're craven, they might. But in terms of the Republicans not breaking, no, he cannot guarantee that at all. It all depends on their poll numbers in their home states when they're up for re-election. That is the only thing that matters. And if anyone reports anything otherwise, just understand they don't understand politics.
Why don't we go to Mitch McConnell effectively making the prediction? So perhaps someday you'll be able to laugh in hindsight, but here's what he had to say last night.
The case is so darn weak coming over from the House. We all know how it's going to end. There's no chance the president's going to be removed from office. My hope is that there won't be a single Republican who votes for either of these articles of impeachment. And Sean, it wouldn't surprise me if we got one or two Democrats. It looks to me over in the House, the Republicans seem to be solid and the Democrats seem to be divided.
Do you see any possible defections?
I doubt it. I doubt it. There's a zero chance the president obviously would be removed from office, and I'm hoping we'll have no defections at all.
Okay, so all that video, as well as video we can't show you right now, but it was him talking about the strategy of blocking Obama's judges in the last year, and then he laughed. It's one of the creepiest things I've ever heard. Just bear all that in mind when Jerk of the Year time rolls around.
Yeah, so McConnell gonna McConnell, right? And so, by the way, it's the job of the Democrats to fight back. Somebody, for God's sake, step up to the plate. I mean, this guy is the heart of corruption. All he ever does is take bribes from corporate contributors and the NRA and sell out the American people over and over again. Are you ever gonna fight back against this monster named McConnell?
And this is supposed to be the issue that unites moderates and the left and liberals, okay? So this is it. This is an erosion of the constitutional checks and balances right before our eyes. It's not the first example, especially when it comes to McConnell. He's been doing this very transparently for some time now. It showcases very perfectly that the Republicans have no interest in defending the Constitution. I'm not even super fond of the Constitution myself, but hey, if you constantly talk about how we need to defend American democracy and how the Democrats are real patriots, you have to step up. At what point will we actually push back on any of this in a serious way?
Yeah, look, I am a fan of the Constitution, but the Democratic Party should be all over this clip. It's always the sound of silence. They should come out and say Mitch McConnell has obviously abdicated his responsibility to the Constitution. We're looking for him to step down out of his role. The Republicans should appoint someone who is impartial. In fact, maybe he should recuse himself from the entire trial since he has declared ahead of time that he will under no circumstances be an impartial juror.
Yeah.
See, that would be a strong response. They always say, there's nothing we can do. No, there's a lot you can do. You're just choosing not to fight McConnell.
Yeah. And I also think that we need to do something, but it has to be pretty urgent. I think that this should be treated similar to climate change. This is not a problem that can be solved in 20 or 30 years.
What's up? I mean, it is being treated similar to climate change.
Like we're denying that it exists?
Yes.
Yeah, because the issue is that Mitch McConnell has apparently figured out, and Trump figured out, that his voters, these conservatives who say that they love the Constitution, they love democracy and all of that, they don't care about any of that. They want what they want, and they don't care if American democracy has to be run through a shredder to get it. The blatant lie about you can't confirm Obama's judge in the last year. Just last night he told Sean Hannity that he's going to, in the last year, put through Trump judges. And there's no price to be paid on the right for that. They don't care about hypocrisy, they're not interested in that. They don't care about, democracy is convenient if they believe that they can still win through it. And thanks to gerrymandering, the way that the Senate is structured, a lot of things like that, for the time being they can, but they are already prepared to move past that. Look at the opinion polls. The support for some alternative to democracy is rising steadily on the right. And why wouldn't it? They've seen that they have people like Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump that can win while having no respect whatsoever for the system of government we're supposed to have.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.